Okay, so first topic natin for the subject investment and portfolio management, of course, we'll have to start by understanding what is investing and what are investments. Okay, so we're using here an article from Investopedia pa din. Okay, and then we'll be discussing about investing. Okay, so yung investing, by definition, the act of allocating resources, usually money, with the expectation of generating an income or profit. Okay, you can invest in endeavors such as using money to start a business or in assets such as purchasing real estate in hopes of reselling it later at a higher price. Okay, so kumbaga yung act of investing, of doing an investment, or the process of making an investment, of course we call it investing. And then, it's also the allocation of resources kasi ang tao naman, hindi lahat ng tao merong, available na money or extra funds to put into investments. Okay? So, in a way, it requires yung, what do you call it? Wise allocation of resources ng isang tao for him or her to be able to make investments. Okay? And again, normally, yung resources na yun ay financial in nature. And you have to put money into an investment. And again, with the expectation of generating an income or profit. Okay? Wala namang nag-i-invest na ang expectation is malulugi siya. Okay? There is that particular quote or some sort of investment principle. Pero hindi naman siya, actually recognized as an investment principle. Pan sinasabi lang nila, when you make an investment, make sure that the amount of money that you're going to put it is, ito yung fund na okay lang na mawala sa'yo or hindi mo siya kailangan in the short term, or kumbaga pwede kang mag-suffer ng losses without making you suffer. Okay? Yung tipong hindi ka makakatulog sa kumbaga hindi ganun dapat yung maging situation na kahit maging loss yung result ng investment mo, makakatulog ka pa rin ng mahimbing sa gabi. Okay, you have other financial resources para punan yung immediate needs mo. Okay, and ng yung family. Okay, so normally, yun nga, one of the reminders when making an investment, extra money ang gagamitin mo. Okay, because, in case nga na mag-suffer ka ng losses, hindi ganun kabigat sa'yo. Okay? Kaya yung iba, yun nga, sabi, kapag yan ay savings mo, yan ay emergency fund mo, yung pera na yan, huwag mo nang ilagay muna sa investment. Lalo na kung nagsisimula ka pa lang, hindi ka pa ganun ka, knowledgeable about how to evaluate different types of investments. Normally, ganun kasi yun sa umpisa eh. Since you're not yet knowledgeable, wala ka pang experience, hindi mo pa alam yung pasikot-sikot, yung pagkakaiba ng mga investments and how to measure risk and return. So, mas malaki talaga yung probability na magkaroon ka ng losses during your first few years. Okay? So, yun. Kapag beginner ka, much better kung yung fund na gagamitin mo ay something that, you can afford to lose. Okay? But then again, hindi mo naman hahayaan na basta-basta na lang mawala sa'yo yung pera na yun. During the process, kailangan careful ka pa rin sa pagpili ng investments mo and to make sure na hindi ka talaga magsasuffer ng losses. Okay? Or meron tayong tinatawag na yung cut loss. Na kapag nakikita mo yung investments mo ay pababa na yung performance niya, edi, benta mo na, bawiin mo na yung capital mo doon. Okay? Tinatawag natin na cut loss. Hindi yung iintayin mo pa siya na, ay baka mamaya tumaas pa ulit yung value niya, so hintayin kong tumaas na lang siya ulit. Okay? But eventually, instead na ganun yung mangyari, nagdire-diretso pababa yung valuation ng investment mo. Lalong lumaki yung loss mo. Okay? So, yan. Learn when to cut your losses din. Okay? Pero, yun. Later, may mga discussion naman tayo dyan. Okay? Pahapyaw pa lang, overview ng mga nangyayari sa investments. Okay, key takeaways. In investing, risk and return are two sides of the same coin. Okay, palagi naman magkasama yan, risk and return. Low risk generally means low expected returns, while higher returns are usually accompanied by higher risk. Okay, so kumbaga, normally kaya lang naman sila nag-offer ng high return is of course to attract then some investors, and of course, to be able to attract them, higher return yung ino-offer. Pero andun yung fact na mataas din yung risk kasi either hindi pa nila masyadong tawag dito, they're not sure yet of how the project or how the business will perform eventually. Okay? Pwede siya, new type of business model, ganyan. Okay? Tapos yung low risk naman, kumbaga assured ka na kikita yung company or kumbaga andun na yung siguro historical performance or by the nature ng business is kikita naman talaga siya. Pero yun nga, medyo mababa lang. Okay? And since low risk lang naman siya, yung in-offer na return is mababa din. Okay? Risk and return expectations can vary widely within the same asset class. A blue chip that trades on the stock exchange, New York Stock Exchange, and a microcap that trades over the counter will have very different risk-return profiles. Okay, etong mga nabanggit dito, different type of business class na to, no? Etong blue chip, normally definition ng blue chip is companies na yun, matagal na in operation, tapos meron siyang historical data on the profitability. Okay? Kumbaga, ito yung mga well-known companies na alam mong, uy, matagal na yan, matagal nang existing, and profitable naman over the long term. Okay? Tapos itong microcap, medyo maliliit na companies, later, didiscuss natin yan. Hindi masyadong, hindi masyadong well-known or popular itong mga to. The type of returns generated depends on the asset. Many stocks pay quarterly dividends while bonds pay interest every quarter. Okay? Normally, meron tayong two types of investment. No, again, normally. Merong other types din. Pero yung pinaka-popular, we have the stock market, saka yung bond market. Dun sa stock market, ang securities doon, mga shares of stock ng mga companies, stock corporations. Tapos kapag nag-invest ka kasi sa stocks, there are two ways for you to earn. Yung una, yung pag nag-declare ng earnings yung company, nagde-distribute sila ng dividends. Okay, ang tawag, dividends. Tapos yung second way, para kumita ka sa stocks, yung kapag nag-appreciate yung market price ng isang share, okay, or ng isang stock. Kapag tumaas syempre yung price compared dun sa kung magkano mo siya binili, tapos binenta mo at a higher price, that's another way that you would earn, right? Tapos yung sa bonds naman, by nature kasi itong bonds ay liability ng company na nag-issue. So, nagbabayad sila ng interest dun sa mga bondholder. Okay? Tapos yung payment niya, pwede rin, monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, or annually. Okay? Pagdating dun sa dividends, again, it would depend din naman dun sa company. Merong nagbabayad ng quarterly, merong semi-annual, merong annual. Okay? Investors can take the do-it-yourself approach or employ the services of a professional money manager. Itong una, do-it-yourself, tawag dito. Siguro if beginner ka tapos gusto mo talagang, pag-aralan kung paano yung investment process, then you can do itong approach na to, do-it-yourself. Ikaw mismo kasi makaka-experience, ikaw mismo yung mag-iisip, mag-a-analyze ng situation. Pero ito, medyo costly. Kasi since hindi ka pa nga experience, wala ka pa masyadong alam sa pasikot-sikot, there's the higher possibility na maging loss yung iyong investments. Okay? Pero, yung other approach, mag-hire ka ng professional money manager. Normally, ginagamit ito nung malalaki yung pera. Yung tipong millions talaga. Okay? Kasi, kumbaga, ang mangyayari doon, parang trust fund lang din. Yung pera ilalagay dun sa under the care of the money manager. Tapos itong money manager, siya na yung bahala mag-invest ng pera mo. Yung kikitain ng pera mo, parang merong either may sharing or merong base pay. Merong may minimum siya na matatanggap from managing your funds. Okay? Tapos kapag malaki yung naging returns ng fund na yon, meron din siyang percentage. Okay? Kasi effort naman niya kung bakit kumita ng malaki yung fund. Okay? So, merong ganyan. On the part ng mga small investors, pwede rin naman itong, merong professional money manager. Pero unlike nung example kanina, meron na tayong tinatawag na yung pooled money or UITFs. Yung maliliit na investors, pinagsasama-sama yung kanilang pera, resources. Tapos, merong isang tao lang na naghahawak nung pool of resources na yon. Okay. Tinatawag na fund, unit investment, trust fund. Okay. So, there are other types pa rin naman. So, later, madidiscuss. Okay. Much later during the discussion of the subject. Okay, tapos, whether buying a security qualifies as investing or speculation depends on 3 factors. Okay? Amount of risk taken, holding period, and the source of returns. Amount of risk, holding period, gaano katagal mo yung hawakan, short term lang ba yan or long term? Tapos you have your source of returns. Saan manggagaling yung kikitain mo dyan? Dividends ba yan? Interest? Or through appreciation of market price ng security? Okay? Understanding investing. So, expectation of return in the form of income or price appreciation with a statistical significance is the core premise of investing. So, pinaka-main point, yun talaga. And ang tinutukoy talaga dito is yung sa stock market. So, merong income in the form of dividends. Tapos, the other is kapag nag-appreciate yung price or yung market price ng security. Doon ka rin kikita. The spectrum of assets in which one can invest and earn a return is a very wide one. Okay, doon na lang sa stock market. Dito sa stock market natin in the Philippines, there are more than 100 companies na pwede mong pagpilian. Okay, and then bonds, of course, you have government bonds. Meron ka ring privately issued bonds. Okay. Risk and return go hand in hand in investing. Low risk generally means low expected returns kasi, assured nakikita naman. While higher returns are usually accompanied by higher risk. At the low risk end of the spectrum, our basic investments such as certificate of deposits, bonds, or fixed income instruments are higher up on the risk scale, while stocks or equities are regarded as riskier. Commodities and derivatives are generally considered to be among the riskiest investments. One can also invest in something practical, such as land or real estate, or delicate items such as fine art and antiques or jewelries then. Okay? So, discuss natin ng konti lang, overview pa lang, no? So, we have 3 types of investors kasi, yung conservative, moderate, saka yung aggressive. Okay? Ang pinagbabasihan dun ay yung risk appetite ng isang tao. Meron kasing mga tao na ayaw nila ng malulugi yung kanilang investments. Meron namang tao na, aggressive. Para bang isusugal yung kanilang pera dun sa mga high-risk investments. Tapos, andun din syempre yung understanding na okay lang kahit may possibility na malugi yung investment. Okay? Meron mga taong ganun. Kayang sikmurain yung possibility of losses. Meron din namang tao na ayaw ng ganun, yung mga conservative, yung tipong mag-read lang ng konti yung tawag dito, yung valuation ng investment, let's say negative 1%, maganyan, or basta bumaba ng konti yung investments, hindi na halos makatulog sa gabi. So, may ganun. Normally, pag mayroong mga investment, tawag dito, kapag yung investment ay in-offer ng isang financial institution or investment house, normally, meron silang risk assessment na pinapasagutan sa investor para malaman yung kanilang risk appetite. I think yung GCash, sa GCash kasi merong G-Invest sila na portion doon. Tapos, kapag mag-create ka ng account doon, yes, merong risk assessment na pinapasagutan. Tapos, doon mo malalaman kung ikaw ba ay conservative, moderate, or aggressive. Kasi normally, depending on your risk assessment, doon ka bibigyan ng, types of instruments or types of investments na pwede mong kunin. Kasi kunwari, conservative investor ka, tapos trip mong mag-invest sa stocks, okay? Pero yung stocks kasi, high risk yon na investment. So, parang magkakaroon pa ng some sort of waiver na since conservative ka nga, low risk lang yung appetite mo. So, parang magkakaroon pa ng waiver or something. Ganyan. Pero kung, conservative ka tapos gusto mo mag-invest sa bonds, since yung bonds naman ay low risk, so walang kaso yun. Acceptable yun. Pero kapag yung from conservative tapos yung pinipili mo na investment ay high risk, medyo merong konting procedural pa din. Okay? Ayan. Tapos, pagdating naman sa investments or, securities, bonds issued by the government, yan yung tinatawag natin na almost risk-free investments. Kasi, syempre, ang nag-issue government, since ang government funded naman by taxes, funded by the general public, so, halos walang possibility na hindi magbayad ng interest yung government. Okay? So, almost risk-free investment sila. So, bagay siya sa mga conservative investors. Pero since low risk siya, edi low rate lang din yung return. So, mga tipong 1 to 4% yung annual return, rate of return. Okay? Tapos, yun yung low risk, Pagdating dun sa other side, siguro moderate type of investments yung bonds issued naman by private entities or private corporations. Kasi as by nature kasi yung bonds, liabilities nila yan eh. So, meron talaga silang obligation, contractual obligation to pay the interest. Okay? Pero since sila ay private, so, di ba, pag na-bankrupt sila, medyo mahirapan na magpabayad ng interest. Okay? But still, hindi naman ganun ka-taas yung risk level. Okay? So, mga tipong low to moderate yung risk level. Okay? And then the other one, kasunod pala, is the stocks. Okay? Kasi yung stocks, some sort of ownership na kasi siya. Pag bumili ka ng stock, nagiging owner ka or part owner ng business. Kaya yung business, kapag nalugi, lugi ka din. Kasi, parang may-ari ka na rin ng business eh. Okay, pero pag kumita yung business, 'di ba, malaki yung naging earnings, may share ka din doon. So depending on how much shares you are holding, yun din yung proportionate na earnings na matatanggap mo kapag nag-declare ng dividends, okay? And then of course, kapag tumaas yung share price, market price, then that's another way for the investor to earn money. Okay, pero yun nga, medyo volatile kasi yung market price ng stocks, pwedeng tumaas, pwedeng bumaba, depending on many factors. Some of those factors, edi yung performance mismo nung business, siya ba ay profitable or nag-earn ba siya ng, nagsasuffer ba siya ng losses, tapos affected siya syempre ng, economy situation, like, diba, anggit naman natin in previous discussions, may mga businesses na very much affected ng pandemic, pero meron din namang businesses na nag-thrive palalo during the pandemic. Okay? So, it would depend on how well they adapted to the changes in the economic situations kung magiging ba ayos ba or hindi. Okay? So, yun. Andun yung possibility na pagtaas or pagbaba ng market prices. Okay? So, in a way, yun, high risk, high return nga siya kasi nakadepende sa galawan or sa performance nila. Okay? And then yung last na nabanggit dito, riskiest investments, itong commodities and derivatives. Ito kasi minsan parang gambling na ang dating. Although yes, meron siya dyang tawag dito, andyan yung property or andyan yung asset. Pero yung valuation niya kasi would depend on other factors pa rin. Kagaya nito, yung derivatives kasi normally, let's say, foreign exchange, transaction between a company here in the Philippines, tapos from another company. So, because of foreign exchange, di ba, nagbabago kasi yung rate niyan everyday din. So, ayun. Pwede ka kasi mag-speculate ng, tataas ba yung rate or bababa? Depende kung buyer ka or seller ka, yung magagastos mo bang pera ay maliit ba or mas malaki? Okay? So, minsan, they gamble with derivatives Para bang in-speculate or in-expect niya na siguro by the time na mag-take effect yung transaction, ang exchange rate ay bababa. Okay? Speculation lang. Okay? Pero let's say tumaas pala. Edi merong isang party na medyo malulugi doon. Okay? Pero again, magkakaroon pa naman tayo ng separate discussions dyan sa types of investments much later. Okay? So, overview lang para naiisip niya na din. Ayan. Tapos, others, ayan, real estate, delicate items, fine art, boutiques, or jewelries din kasama. Alright. Risk and return expectations can vary widely within the same asset class. So, yung blue chip, marami kasing types naman ng blue chip. Although, ang blue chip din naman, by the definition niya, pwede rin naman kasi siyang, nag-ooperate in different industries. Okay? Blue chip sila lahat, pero they operate in different industries, ganyan. Different scale, merong national level lang, merong multinational, merong international pa. Alright? The returns generated by an asset depend on the type of asset. So, normally kapag equity instrument, edi of course, dividends. Pero kapag liability instrument, like bonds, so, interest expense or interest income. Tapos, depending on the jurisdiction pa rin ng country or the tax laws, edi meron pa siyang tax consequences. Tapos it would depend. The rate would depend on the source of the income. Okay? Ayan. In addition to regular income, such as dividend or interest, price appreciation is an important component of return. Total return from investment can be regarded as the sum of income and capital appreciation. Okay. Tapos, meron nga tayong types of investments. We have the stocks and ownership of the company. Part owner kapag bumili ka ng stocks. And then you have the bonds, obligations ito or liabilities ng issuing entity. Pwedeng government, pwedeng private corporations. Okay? And then we have funds. Okay, ang examples nito ay yung mga mutual funds, exchange-traded funds, tapos UITFs, Unit Investment, UITF. Limot ko na. Bigla ko nalimutan. Unit Investment Trust Fund. Ayan. Tapos, I'm not sure kung VUL under din ito. Okay, pero later, i-discuss pa rin natin individually itong types of investments. Saka yung mga sub-examples pa niya. Investment Trust, so REITs, kapareho lang to ng UITF, pero yung pooled investment or yung pinagsama-sama na money or resources from small investors, gagamitin lang siya ay to acquire real estate. Okay? Ito yung REIT. Okay? Pero yung UITF, Unit Investment Trust Fund, pwedeng naka-invest siya across different industries. Okay? Different companies. Tapos, mga alternative investments, pwedeng hedge funds, pwedeng private equity, pwedeng mag-business ka na rin ng sarili mo. Diba? Ayan. Options and derivatives, another type. Didiscuss na lang natin later. Ito yung medyo madugo sa accounting Okay. Commodities, examples, metals, oil, grain, and animal products. Pero normally parang, business ito. Engaging in business relating to this particular commodities. Ayan. Tapos, comparing investing styles, merong active versus passive. Normally, yung active, yung mga nag-engage sa day trading. Di ba sa stock trading? Sa isang araw kasi, yung price ng isang company, stock, pwede siyang tumaas, pwede siyang bumaba. So, merong instances na during that particular day, bibilhin mo siya habang nandun pa siya sa lowest point niya. Tapos, during the day, either tataas pa yung price niya. Tapos, kapag may na-reach na yung peak, pwedeng ibenta mo na rin siya agad on the same day. Okay? Depending on the number of stocks na binili mo. Tapos, although maliit lang yung amount ng increase niya, let's say 10 pesos lang or 100 pesos, but because of the volume or the number of stocks na andun sa transaction, pwedeng malaki yung maging amount ng, actual earnings mo from there. Okay, so yun yung, in a way, example ng passive investing. Yung passive, one way of calling it is yung tipong long term. Bibili ka ng stocks ngayon, tapos hindi mo na siya sisilipin, hindi mo na titingnan kung ano naging performance niya. Hintayin mo na lang after 5 years or after 10 years, saka mo siya ibebenta. Okay? Ang expectation kasi pag ganon, yes, probable, or there's a probability na tumaas talaga yung kanyang magiging market price. Pero again, merong mga certain situations din na makaka-affect na, kagaya ng pandemic, di ba? Nung nagkaroon ng pandemic, yung prices ng mga company stocks natin, biglang baba sila lahat. Halos kapareho lang nung kanilang prices 5 years ago or 10 years ago. So, yung mga passive, naglagay ng investment doon, tapos passive yung kanilang investing style, hindi masyado, hindi nila makikita yung earnings in that case. Okay, pero kung, normal situation siya, walang pandemic, more likely than not, edi mag-earn din kasi. Nag-earn talaga yung investments nila. Okay? Growth versus scale. Growth investors prefer to invest in high-growth companies which typically have higher valuation ratios. Okay, tinitingnan nila yung price-earnings ratio than value companies. Okay, yun namang value companies, lower yung kanyang price to earnings ratio, pero mataas yung kanilang and higher dividend yields than growth companies because they may be out of favor with investors either temporarily or for a prolonged period of time. Okay. Okay. Normally, itong mga value companies para to dun sa ang kanilang product or service ay basic necessities. Kasi basic necessities naman normally hindi tumataas ng sobrang taas yung changes in the prices. So, in a way, medyo controlled kasi yung growth. Hindi siya biglang laki. Okay? So, kumbaga, nire-retain na lang niya yung kanyang valuation. At ang growth, normally siguro sa mga tech companies, fintech companies, ganyan. Investing, so again, meron tayong do-it-yourself investing, yung ikaw mismo, tatry mo. Okay, yan yung gagawin nyo sa Instagram. Tapos, professionally managed investing. So, bigay mo lang yung pera mo to a professional and hayaan mo siyang mag-manage ng funds mo. Robo-advisor investing. Meron ng mga apps ngayon or meron ng mga groups. Tapos, meron, in a way, nag-offer sila ng, mga financial advisories or financial advice kung saan mo pwedeng ilagay yung pera mo. Okay? Technically, ikaw pa rin yung may hawak ng pera mo. Ikaw pa rin yung maglalagay ng pera dun sa different investments or companies. Pero, you take an advice from somewhere else or from someone. Okay? So, yan. Normally, syempre, may babayaran ka na fees. Okay? Brief history of investing. Skip na natin. Basahin nyo na lang. Pakiusap. Ayan. Tapos, ito yung maganda. Investing versus speculation. Okay? Buying a security qualifies as investing or speculation depending on 3 factors. Yung amount of risk. Kapag investing usually involves a lower amount of risk compared with speculation. The holding period, investing typically involves longer holding period, measured quite frequently in years, pero yung speculation, shorter holding periods. Okay. Source of returns, price appreciation may be a relatively less important part of returns from investing, while dividends or distributions may be a major part. Okay. In speculation, yung price appreciation ang main source of returns. Kaya siya naging speculation kasi, you speculate that, you speculate when the price is going to go down. Tapos yun yung point kung kailan ka bibili. Tapos you also speculate kailan siya tataas and up to which point siya tataas. And you sell at that point. Okay, kaya siya nagiging speculation. But still, later, magkakaroon ulit tayo ng separate discussion for that. Price volatility is a common measure of risk. It stands to reason that a state blue chip is much less risky than a cryptocurrency. Okay, we'll have a separate discussion then on cryptocurrency. Buying a dividend-paying blue chip with the expectation of holding it for several years would qualify as investing. A trader who buys a cryptocurrency to flip it for a quick profit in a couple of days is speculating. Okay? So, yan. Example of return from investing. Ito yung computation. So, yung again, yung earnings plus the price appreciation, babawas mo lang yung cost of investment mo, tapos di-divide mo siya sa cost of investment, then times 100%, makukuha mo yung percentage rate of return. Okay? Tapos, meron pa ditong investing facts. Okay? Siguro later, di-discuss din natin ito. Separately na lang. Okay? So, ayun. Humaba na naman pala yung discussion. 30 minutes. Okay, so I'll stop here. Tapos, yung kasunod is about investment. Tapos, di-discuss din natin yung principles of investing. Okay, tapos, recap nung all about investing. Alright? So, that's it for this one. Thanks and bye.